Boom Chanka, how's it going, everybody? Quick video for you. It's a very sunny day. You may be asking why I'm wearing a dressing gown in a hot car like this. Well, I'll keep you guessing. But the real reason I'm making this video today is just to talk about some breaking news. It's been reported by Sky Sports anyway, that AS Roma over in Serie A are interested in bringing Chris Smalling to Rome for the remainder of the season on loan. It seems like all of our players are just reject players. It's only Serie A that's interested in them. I don't know why, but AS Roma apparently are interested in bringing Chris Smalling to their ranks in the form of a season-long loan, not with an option to buy. Nobody wants to buy our shitty players. They just want to take them on loan, which, fair enough. I mean, it's fine by me. I mean, in terms of Chris Smalling, I just think he's not good enough. He's not going to feature much. The other areas of the team we needed to strengthen, we did strengthen at the back. That's why we spent 80 million on Maguire and 50 million on Wan-Bissaka. We got Lindelof there. I mean, he's not going to play much, is he, Chris Smalling? If I'm Chris, I'm thinking, yes, I should probably go to Serie A. I should probably pray for Roma, because I'm just not going to play for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in this Manchester United side very much at all. And I personally would be happy to see him go, just simply because he's not going to play. And if he is going to play, he'll probably come in and do a blunder, because he's not the best, most accomplished player, is he? He's error-prone. He's error-prone, like a lot of United's old defenders. I mean, out of the two, Phil Jones is probably the player I'd rather see leave. I still think Chris Smalling could do some jobs in terms of being a deputy, could do a job in terms of, as a backup. But we've got Twanzebe there. We've got Eric Bailly, who's currently out injured, but will be coming back into it at some point. It makes a lot of sense to get a defender off of our books. I was saying it in the summer transfer window before the English window closed that, it would be great to get a defender out of Manchester United, because we've signed a couple, and they're just crowding the place up. And to be honest with you, they're just bloody bang average dog-turned shite anyway. Those couple that are currently there, the likes of Phil Jones and Smalling, they're just not up to the standard. So, to be honest with you, I am hoping that this is legit. I mean, it's been reported by Sky Sports. It's plastered all over social media that this is pretty much done in terms of a loan move. Chris Smalling to AS Roma in Serie A. So let me know what you guys think about it. I mean, it's one of those moves where, am I really bothered either way? If he stays, fair enough, it's another body around the gaff. If he goes to Roma, then it's one of those shite players off of the books, at least for this season. We shall see. I mean, it's basically being reported that it's only really a £2.5 or £3 million loan move deal just for the season, no upfront fees basically, and it will get him off the books. It's a good move for United, I think. He's bloody paying average, isn't he? He's never going to do the business for us. He's not even really going to feature much as a backup. Just take him off of our hands, please, Roma. Please do it. Please make it so. Please say it so. Yeah, so hope that one's true. Let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section. We've got a comment here from, I can see, Nick Brown, super chat, keep up the great work. Thank you so much, Nick. Thanks for getting involved here early on in the morning. Gung Shi, how are you doing? Any comments? Can we give them No Bones Jones as well? Well, ideally, that would be fantastic. That would be the ideal situation, because those players aren't going to play. And if they do play, they're just bang average, aren't they? Like I said. So I don't think they're ever truly, really going to be useful for Manchester United at the moment. I'd get rid of them both if it's possible. I just don't see any other mug being stupid enough to come in for Phil Jones, because Smalling's the best out of the two, to be fair. I mean, let's be real. There was a season or two for United where Chris Smalling was actually very good for us. I remember one season under Louis van Gaal, Chris Smalling was one of our best players, believe it or not. But it's just not happened out. It's just not panned out. It's just not happened for Chris Smalling at Manchester United, and nor will it ever, because he's just not up to the standard. Too error-prone, and just a bloody bang average player, isn't he? So I'd say get rid of him. Something else I wanted to talk about just briefly, I'll touch on, and then I'll get into your comments and maybe talk a little bit more about Chris Smalling's potential move to Roma. But is that Zlatan Ibrahimovic has come out in the media. There's a little interview with him, and he basically said that he could still rip it up in the Premier League if needed, and if Manchester United require his services, then hey, he's pretty much there for us. But he does still play in the MLS, of course, for LA Galaxy, so there's a lot of things dependent on that. Now, I personally thought the statement from Zlatan Ibrahimovic was absolutely bang on. He could still do it in the Premier League. Now, he did it a couple of years ago for United, was our best player that season, basically, a true match winner. He's 38 now, I think he is 38. I mean, he's obviously aging, but he's not really lost anything in terms of athleticism, in terms of quality. He's ripping up the MLS like it isn't even there. There's no reason to suggest that he couldn't still do it to a very high standard for Manchester United. When he was here, I absolutely love Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He gave us that focal point. He was a leader for us, a talisman. One thing I would say is it's probably actually not a very good time to bring Zlatan Ibrahimovic to the club, even though we've got serious problems up top there in terms of depth. Because, and hear me out here, this is just my opinion, although Zlatan would be amazing, and right now he would actually really benefit us, all it's going to do really is put the emphasis on him and take away from maybe Rashford, maybe Martial, getting that game time, getting those opportunities to come in and play lots of games this season and score lots of goals. If Zlatan's there turning up week in, week out for us, then Rashford's progression is going to be halted, or Martial's progression is going to be halted. And you're talking about players who should be the future of Manchester United. And sure, Zlatan could come in and do a job for us now, but in a way it would be a bit of a back step, wouldn't it? It'd be like going and shagging your ex or whatever. It's like, it's probably not a good idea. Now, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, he's a great player. He's a wonderful talent. I'd take him back in terms of just having him around the dressing room, in terms of having him as a backup. But I don't think Zlatan Ibrahimovic is going to come to Manchester United to do that. I think he'd only come if he's going to play lots of games, if he can really have an impact in the Premier League and add to that already ridiculously impressive legacy. And one of the best players to play over the last 15 years, in my opinion, in world football. So, yeah, I mean, he's a player that I would probably take back just as a backup, but I don't think he'd want to come on that basis. If we did bring him back, sure, it'd probably really help us out. But at the same time, it is going to hinder the progression of Manchester United's forwards. Is Mason Greenwood going to play? I mean, not really. Not really if Zlatan Ibrahimovic is in the side. And people were complaining about Mason Greenwood being our only backup. But he's a good young talent from what we've seen. He's 17. Give him a break. He hasn't even played this season in the league, really. Come on a couple of substitute appearances here and there. If there is a problem with Martial in terms of an injury, then I think Mason Greenwood can do the business. Put the faith in the future. Look to the future. We've already been down the Zlatan Ibrahimovic road. And in a way, I would take him back. But I still just think it would be too much of a hindrance to the younger players who are actually trying to stake a claim to being a top player in this team. Martial, what sort of a hit of confidence would that give the lad if we go out there and we bring Zlatan Ibrahimovic on a season-long loan or just for a few months for the MLS break, whenever it may be? I don't think it really fills them with confidence. Same goes for Rashford, same goes for Mason Greenwood. Right, let's get into your comments, guys. I can't stick around too long today. Hopefully this stream's actually coming through okay. I can see there's not many people in here. Maybe my stream's absolutely shite. I don't know. I am just using mobile data out and about at the moment. A comment here from Gungshi says, we could use a leader like Zlatan. We could, like I say, have him around the dressing room, and he is a leader. He's going to give you that talismanic option up top there. Big target man. But another thing that I'd say is you have to play a certain way when you've got Zlatan Ibrahimovic in your team. Like, you have to play to him. He's a great hold-up man. He's great in the air. So you have to play balls into him in the air, into his chest, allow him to hold the ball up and bring others into play down the wings and that sort of thing. He's got great vision as well, does Zlatan. But you have to play a certain way. I think the way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to play seems to be the way he wants to play. Not that we've been executing it very well recently, but as to play with pacey strikers up there, getting them in behind defences, unlocking a defence with a through ball or a through ball over the top, and try and get the likes of Rashford, the likes of Martial in behind with their pace, hurt them like that, get one-on-one with a keeper. If you can't get one with a keeper, take it wide. The other player will overlap and the play inside. I think that's the sort of thing that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is trying to achieve right now at United, and I'm not sure if Zlatan Ibrahimovic even really fits that mould. I don't think he could really come in and do that for United because he's not the guy who plays on the last defender and looks to get in behind and beat defenses with his pace. He's the opposite. He's a big, strong, athletic man. Does the Lukaku role, but much better than Lukaku, obviously. So I'm not so sure if it would be the right look for United right now, just simply because I think Ole Gunnar is trying something else, and it would hinder the younger lads. Clam J comments, hey Pig, everyone off to Italy. Smalling to go would be great, but Rojo, Jones, Darmian need to go too. Loves Lap, but too old, I think. Hang on a sec. Darmian? Is that prick even still at United? Is that guy still stealing a living from United, is he? Yes, I know he's still at United, but I mean, it's freaking shocking, isn't it, that he's actually still here? He's bloody bang average useless, that guy. So yes, Clam J, I think it's really strange how they're all going to Italy. I guess it just shows you the state. It shows you the state of both Serie A at the moment, that they want such big rejects from Manchester United. And it also shows you the state of Manchester United, that no other bastard wants these players apart from Serie A teams right now. And I love Serie A. I grew up on Serie A. But it's just not the same as it used to be back in the 90s. It was the best league in the world at one point in the 90s. Now it's like fifth, fourth, fifth. It's not one of the best leagues in the world. So it's like a reject ground for Manchester United's failures. Nick Brown says, why are you in your dressing gown in the car? Well, I'll just keep you guessing on that one. Who knows what I've been up to? Thines comments, we need Zlatan fast as possible. Don't wait until the end of the transfer, the better. Sort of didn't make sense there, Thines, but I get what you mean. I'd like to see him at United. I think it's great to have around and great to have as an option. But I don't want it to hinder Martial and Rashford. Look, people are saying that Martial and Rashford, they're not good enough. Give them a freaking break. They've only played a few games, all right. If Rashi scores that penalty, we're looking at this season with a completely different complexion, aren't we? If we win that last game against Palace, we're looking at it differently. I know we didn't, and that they didn't convert it, and they were shite, and Martial was out the game, so I can understand what you're saying. Gungshi with a super chat. Thank you very much, Gungshi, for getting in there. He says, I'd take Zlatan back just to have a leader about the place. Well, that's one thing that Zlatan Ibrahimovic definitely gives you. He's a lion. He is a leader. If you look at what he did in that first season when he was with Manchester United, when we won the Europa League, unfortunately, he didn't play in the final because he was injured, but he was a big factor in Manchester United having such a successful season there. Jose Mourinho's tactics were negative, but we still did a really good job of getting the ball to Zlatan. And when you get him on the ball, somebody who does have that confidence, who does have that arrogance that United have lacked over the years, somebody comparable to the likes of Eric Cantona in terms of presence out there on the pitch for United, then I agree he does add something to the team in terms of leadership. He adds a lot to the team in terms of leadership, and just in terms of competitive edge, he's so competitive out there on pitch. And potential defenders coming up against him, man, they're probably not looking forward to the prospect of coming up against a big physical beast like Zlatan Ibrahimovic. So, I mean, he's a fantastic player. There's no doubt in that. It kind of would be a little bit of a backward step, though, I think. We need to put the faith in Rashford and Martial. Otherwise, these guys, they're never really going to progress on and become the top players that we want them to. It's a bit unfair to expect that they will if they're not playing. And if Zlatan comes in, then he's better than them, isn't he, right now? Zlatan at 38 years of old, years of age in the MLS, he's still better than Anthony, Martial and Rashford. But the only way Rashford and Martial are ever going to get to those levels is if they do get games, if they are allowed to play and they are allowed to progress and they do get game time. And if Zlatan comes in and just steals all their thunder, then that's not going to happen. Might actually be the best thing for United in the short term, because Zlatan would give us that leadership. Zlatan would give us the goals from up top there, and definitely add something to our team in terms of character. But in terms of the long run and the future of Manchester United, when he leaves, it goes back to the MLS at the end of the season, or goes on to his next club, or retires, or whatever it may be, we're still going to be left with Rashford and Martial, who won't have progressed very much at all. And look, I truly don't think Rashford or Martial are ever really, really going to get to the heights of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but I could be wrong. I mean, if you look at what Rashford's done in his career so far as a professional footballer, and you compare that to the best players in world football at that age, then there's not much in it. You know, he's doing a very good job. He is. I'd be very interested to see how many professional top-tier goals Zlatan Ibrahimovic had scored at the same age as Marcus Rashford. If anybody can pull that up, I'd be very interested to see. We've got a comment here from Andrea Tedeschi, who comments, "Hi, I'm an AS Roma fan." Well, thank you very much for getting in here, Andrea. Buongiorno to you, my friend. What do you think about Chris Smalling? Do you think that would be a good addition to your team? Do you know much about Chris Smalling? Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Ryan Jackson comments, "If you think about it, we could play Rashford on the right wing and Zlatan up front and then Martial on the left wing." Interesting thought there, interesting thought. But then, like I say, it's somebody in terms of the younger players is getting their progression halted. Because if you do that, then what's happening to Daniel James, who we've just brought in and who looks good and has actually scored 2 goals so far in the Premier League? one of which was truly stunning. What happens to him if you're going to play Martial out left and Rashford out on the right? He's not going to play, is he? Which means that one of our youngsters who could go on and be a future hero for Manchester United and a really top player is having their progression halted because we're putting our faith in a 38-year-old man up top there. You can see my point, though, can't you? I've got a bit of a chest infection at the moment, guys, so I'm wheezing a little bit. I'm doing my Berbatov impression right now. Griffo Chaz, how you doing? Comments, I feel Man United are filling a bath with the plug out. We're getting rid of players and it's leaving the squad thin. Yeah, I mean, there's wholesale goings out at the moment, but I'm not moaning about it, to be honest with you, Chaz, because I wanted this for a while. And we've improved the defensive position, so it doesn't really bother me that we're getting rid of some of the weaker defensive options because we just got too many players there. I mean, even if we had pretty bad injury problems in the defensive area of the team, we still have Twanzebe, we still got Eric Bailly, we still got Lindelof, we've still got Maguire. You know, there's still got Rojo. So there's a couple of options that Manchester United have still got even without Chris Smalling there. I think it's a good time to get rid of some of these players as well. Like, we've been going on about it for years that they're not good enough. So I don't understand why, you know, why some people don't seem too happy when it actually comes around that they're gone. They're going. I guess it's just simply because United haven't really strengthened that much in key areas. Like if we had got Bruno Fernandes and we had signed another top striker up there and maybe a winger, nobody would really be asked about Chris Smalling going simply because we've signed, you know, Maguire, we've got Lindelof and still the other backups that we got. Marek Stachowski says Zlatan with no Champions League football, no chance. Well, you say no chance, but I think if the offer was good enough for Manchester United to take him over, he said that he would come and help us out. He obviously loved his time at United. The fans absolutely worshipped Zlatan while he was here. I did. While Zlatan was at Manchester United, he was easily my favourite player because, like Gungshi said, he did have leadership. He did have qualities out there on the pitch. He did have character, and he really led United from the front. We could do with a player like that. Unfortunately, United are a bit like Sweden at the moment. You know, we're just a little bit on the shit side. And when Zlatan Ibrahimovic was playing for Sweden, man, he was a focal point for them. He really was a leader out there, and he really did make stuff happen. That's the sign of a great player. Put him in any shite team and see what they can do, and he always delivered. So I think he would definitely come in and improve United right now, as crazy as it is to say for a 38-year-old in the MLS. I think he'd really help United out, but I still don't know if it's the right thing for United to do right now. Gungshi says he would bring out more in Pogba too. Well, you say that, Gungshi, but would he? Would he really? That's what I want to know. Would he actually? He could do. HR says, look good, Mr. Pig. Thank you very much, mate. I'm actually starting to sweat really badly because this is like a woolly dressing gown. And it's like I'm in a car. It's sunny as Fook at the moment in southern England. So it's pretty hot. Vishesh Lal comments, Zlatan made goals himself when nobody would help him. So true. The guy was a match winner. Some of the stuff he did on his own out there was absolutely majestic. Plus the sort of half chances crossed into the box. Something that United struggle at, attacking balls into the box and set pieces and things like that. Zlatan was amazing for us. When you just whip a hopeful ball into the box, guess what? The old Swedish beast is freaking leaping like a salmon and getting that absolutely lovely man bun head on it. That's what happens when you put a ball into Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He outmuscles everybody. The guy's a freaking 6'6" or 6'5" beast. Do you know what I mean? And that was on display for Manchester United while he was here time and time again. So I agree with you. I think he really does make stuff happen on his own. Beata Thompson comments, I think Zlatan could do a job for us. He's by far the best player in the MLS, so he could at least be a bench player, and he is a real leader. Yeah, if he's happy to come here on a backup basis when we need him, then 100% I'd take him back at the club in a heartbeat. But if he's only wanted to come to be the main man, I think it would only hinder the progression of the likes of Martial and the likes of Rashford. But I do agree, I think he's the best player in the MLS. There was some talk a month ago when there was the old El Tráfico Clásico in the MLS between the LA teams. Who was the best player in the MLS? Because I think Carlos Vela has the most goals this season in the MLS, but let's be real now. It's got to be a bit of a shit league when Carlos Vela is the best player in the league or one of the best players in the league. I know Zlatan's one of the best players in the league, but I mean, Carlos Vela, he is a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's actually a really good player. But you put him in the Premier League and he's basically like a freaking Almiron. or something. Do you know what I mean? He's not actually that good. So the MLS is a poor league. I think Zlatan is a standout in that league. And if he came to United, he'd probably still be a standout in the Premier League because he's just that good. Ryan Jackson comments, can't believe he's 38 and he's still a beast. That's a true sportsman and is still hungry for glory. Yeah, he's definitely interested in legacy, this man, isn't he? He's interested in coming to United to help us out, play in the Premier League, add to his Premier League goal tier. He doesn't need to. This guy's absolutely minted. He's playing for an MLS team, scoring goals, taking the accolades, winning the championships probably. So he doesn't really need to, but I think he wants to. He likes the challenge and he likes to be adored. He likes to be loved, does Zlatan Ibrahimovic, and he'll definitely get that at Manchester United because I think most United fans absolutely love Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I did. The adoration I had for him is beyond that of any player I've had for United for a while, really, since the Fergie days, just because he was that leader for us out there. He did make stuff happen on his own. The guy was an absolute beast. Ad-filling skill says, I would take Zlatan. He's still world class. Wow. So lots of love coming in for Zlatan Ibrahimovic as potential, loan move back to Manchester United at some point. Don't know if it's ever, looking that likely, but if it did happen, I'd be happy about it as a backup option. But I mean, that's the thing. If you've got Zlatan coming in, you've got to play him, don't you? If you've got Zlatan there, he's way better than Rashford. He's way better than Martial. You'd have to play him, which would hinder the progression of Martial and Rashford. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. But in terms of short-term performance, it probably would benefit us. Kane versus Predator comments, I'd be happy to see Smalling gone, but still need a few more signings before getting rid of some players. Yes, I mean, we strengthened in the defensive department, so if there was an area to let players go, it would be there. That makes more sense to let Smalling go to Roma. It doesn't make a lot of sense to maybe have Lukaku go when we had him go because we weren't strengthened in that area. But at the same time, I've never been happy with Lukaku at United, really. I've never been happy with Sanchez at United, really. To get those two players gone makes me happy because they're just not good enough, even though we don't necessarily have the options in that area. What it does mean is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is going to have to play youth this season. He's going to have to play people like Angel Gomez. He's going to have to play people like Chong and Garner and those sorts of guys. And I'd love to see that. I think that's actually really good. Remember the class of 92? Remember that season when Alan Hansen said you can't win anything with kids? Well, we proved that twat wrong, didn't we? And I think United could probably turn a few heads and upset a few people this season if we gave the youth players who are hungry and do have something to prove an option and gave them the opportunity to play for United. Ryan says, Daniel James is a great player and could be a class player in the future, but we could still bring him on from the bench because he has just come to the Premier League and needs to settle into it. Fair play, he's settled in pretty well so far. I mean, I hear you, I do. I want him to be the next sort of Giggsy flying winger for us, and if he's going to do that, he's going to have to play. But at the same time, you don't want to bring players on too quickly. I know what you're saying. You don't want to just burn people out. So it's not like he's going to play 38 Premier League games for United this season anyway. You make a good point. I mean, if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer feels that maybe the best option would be to play Martial and Rashford out on the wings as we have done over the last couple of years more, and have Zlatan up top, then that probably does make sense to have Daniel James coming on as an impact substitute. And of course, he does have absolute pace for days. So you've got to understand that later on in games, if you bring a player on like that, then it's probably only going to be more effective than from the start because he's got so much pace. He's coming up against players with tired legs, etc., and he could probably just absolutely smash it up when he comes on later on in games. So I hear you. Right, guys, I'm pretty much going to wrap this video up. I just wanted to jump on quickly. I can't believe the time just gets away. 24 minutes I've been talking COD in this car in my dressing gown in the freaking burning heat. What's the matter with me? Anyway, thanks to everybody who's tuned in this morning. Just wanted to make a video to give you my thoughts on the news that's currently breaking on Sky Sports about Chris Smalling's potential loan move to AS Roma. Apparently finalised. We'll see what happens. It probably is likely because Smalling's just not going to play this season very much, and I'm sure he wants to play. Marek says, thanks for the quick live stream. Andy Manchester, yo pig, yo to you, Andy. No worries. I wanted to pop on and just give you my thoughts on that, and of course I have a little chat about the legend that is Zlatan Ibrahimovic too. Hopefully I came through okay. I may delete this if I watch it back and it's an absolute data mess because I am out and it is on my mobile data, so it could be shy. But anyway, thanks very much for tuning into this live stream. Do us a favor before you go, smash a like on this video, please. Also subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. If I missed your comments during this live stream, come back in a few moments, get your thoughts and opinions in the comment section about Chris Smalling's move or potential loan move to AS Roma. Do you think it's good? It's not like United are really going to be left short in that area because of the signings we made in the transfer window. The one area we truly did strengthen in the team. That's why I'm not bothered about it. Get rid of Phil No Bones Jones too. Come on, Roma. You know you want that mediocre partnership at the back there. Right, guys. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Have yourselves a very, very good one. This is the Pig on Flying Pig United. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on Zlatan potentially coming back to United at some point, and also Chris Smalling going to Roma. Have a good day. Take it easy. You've been watching the Pig. I'll see you very, very soon, and come on, United.